Good day, Small Biz David here, and welcome to our regular Saturday morning community Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus community meeting. What if you gave a party and nobody came? I was supposed to have three guests here today. One I know is having computer challenges. One thought that they were going to be near a computer today. I thought everybody was always near a computer. I thought in this mobile world that we live in that you're always close. Although when I get away from my desk, and I've got two computers on my desk. No, actually I have three. One that I don't use. I don't get. I'm online all day and 24 by 7, and when I step away from my desk, I don't want to be connected. So I bought the dumbest phone I could possibly find, and believe me, it's very dumb. Although I learned, I just started doing something last week, new in Google Plus, which I thought you could do it in the past, but for some reason I could never really get it going for me. But I got it going last week. I can be sitting at my desk inside of Google Plus, and from my computer, do a message to somebody's mobile phone. And had an interesting experience with that last week. My son was at a football game in Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio State University, and he was at the game. They were playing their probably their biggest rival. There were 108,000 folks. Wait, somebody might want to come to this meeting. Hold on for a second. Let me see if I can do this. I think I can. By George, I think I did it. Okay, now where am I? Here we go. So my son was at this football game last week, and there were 108,000 people there. Imagine that. And I was watching the game on television, so I was carrying on a commentary with him, messaging, and we had a lot of fun at it. So let's get down to the business of the week of 2014, and actually we're ready to launch this week a major project of ours for 2015. We're going to launch it in 2014. We're so excited about it. There's Tim. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Dave. How are you this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad. All things considered, a little late getting started this morning.
All things considered. Yeah, Tim, I need your opinion on something.
Okay.
As you look at my set behind me, you might think I'm on a huge ego trip because I had to reset some things. I put a banner up this week, and I see 6 pictures of myself or images. 6 of them, count them, with my favorite one being that one. Look, how's that?
Okay, I like that you got a banner up there, custom. Did you do that, or did Vivek do it?
Did you ask if I did it?
Yes.
You know better than to ask a question like that.
Well,
you know better.
It was worth tossing out there.
Vivek did it, and he did it in about under 5 minutes, as a matter of fact. And how lucky were you with your banner this week? You were working on one.
Well, it's up, but you'll have to tell me because you're pinned.
I didn't pin myself. I'm not pinned.
See the white box
Yeah,
around
no,
you?
I'm not. I'm not. It's on my screen. I'm going back and forth.
Huh.
I see you on my screen now. I see me on my screen now.
Okay, yeah, you got it voice switching there now. Okay, but it's not switching. Oh, I know why it's not switching back because there's only two of us. Vivek's not on the stream this morning.
Okay. At any rate,
I'm just getting started.
you do have a new one up there, and let me ask you this question: Are you interested in creating banners for folks? I know that's for you. It'd be if you're not doing anything, but you're always busy doing something. So the reason I'm at, well, I want to ask the question because as soon as I hear your answer, I'm going to make a statement to the community.
Okay.
And the answer to the question is?
Um, would I be willing to help somebody do it? Yeah. Is there people probably better at it than me?
That wasn't the question. That wasn't.
If they would like help with
Here's
their
what.
overlay, okay, let me.
My thought is that I know Vivek is interested in doing banners for anybody that wants. Of course, he's going to charge them to do it. And I'm asking the question if you are interested, because if you are, I'll have folks let me know that they're interested, and I will alternate between you and Vivek in doing the banners. Is basically why I'm asking the question.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'm willing to help people with their overlays, lower thirds, whatever, and
Well, help or
depends on
do it
how
for them.
fancy they want to get on whether or not I would have time to tackle it because there's a lot
Okay,
involved in it.
that's fair enough. Fair enough answer. Okay, official community announcement. Anybody who wants a banner on for their HOA, if you're doing Hangouts on air, you want something probably to identify you. But like I said, I think I'm on overload here because I don't need 6 images of me. Or 7 if you count me at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images of me.
Okay.
Do I have a good thing
I
going?
see 4 right off if you count
Well,
you.
there are 2 behind me.
Well, there's one on the one book over your shoulder that you just blocked. There's the painting character that I did for you. See, there you go. The 2 there on your left side are covered when you sit up straight.
Well, I know they're there. Now, those are 2 of the finest moments I've ever had in my business career, as a matter of fact. The 2 individuals who I'm in the picture with are 2 folks that I consider to be my major mentors. One a major business mentor, one a major life business mentor. I had never met those individuals until the time that I had those pictures were taken. And what a thrilling, and I met them both in the same 12 months one year. How awesome was that? I mean, it was just a fantastic happening for me. And I want to put them out there because they're folks, they're my mentors. I want to show them my mentors.
Sure, I don't blame you.
That's why those 2 are there. So anyways, folks in the community or out of the community and happen to be watching the recorded version of this HOA, if you would like to have a banner for your HOA, as I have up there, that's called a banner. You can place it anywhere you want on the screen, but with the potpourri of stuff I have going on, we decided to put it up in that corner. We have 2 members of the community that will create them for you, help you, forward you, and if you're interested, let me know directly, and I will refer you to either Tim, who you see, or Vivek, who you don't see. You were supposed to see him. I think he's having computer issues of all things.
Like technical issues never happen.
Well, when it happens to a technical guy, you kind of sit back.
Bad.
Then you say, "Oh my God, if it's happening to him, what's going to happen to me?"
When the
No, you don't
tech
say, "Oh my
guy
God." You
has
say,
a problem with it,
You say OMG.
yep, pretty much. When a tech guy has a technical problem, means it's a big problem.
Well, he's had to. I know several times this week when I was speaking with him, he had to reboot his computer. So there might be some, well, you don't know if that's issues with the computer or issues with the ISP and his modem and router and all
Yeah,
of
there's
that.
so many variables. Yeah.
But he can fix it. The important thing is he can fix it. So Vivek, if you're fixing, please hurry up so you can come. No, if he gets her, great. Okay, so
Be glad to have him back.
glad to have him back as always. Okay, my goodness, Tim. I don't know in my business career of 40 plus years where I have been as busy as I am right now doing stuff. It's incredible. And I owe it all, well, I don't owe it all. I owe a great deal of it to Google Plus and the folks that I have met in Google Plus. And I'm probably one of a very, very few people, really, that uses Google Plus exclusively. I have profiles on in other communities. I have a Facebook profile, a LinkedIn profile, a Twitter profile, but I don't do anything with them. And it's not because it's the only reason that I don't do anything. Well, there's two reasons. First reason that I don't do anything with them is I spend a lot of time, as you well know, doing Google Plus stuff, and it's generating my return on investment for time invested. So why spend, take time away from that and do something where you have to build and make it work for you? And I said there were two reasons, and I forgot the second reason. Basically, I'm getting. I don't want more work. My goodness. I've got enough going. Although some of the projects that I'm working on, we probably will go outside of Google Plus. Not probably. We will go outside of Google Plus to market them. I'm going to need help because I don't know the best way to use the other networks. I mean, I know they're out there, and I've got a lot of friends doing really, really well, nice things, good things on those in Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So I'll call upon those folks to help me market. And the first thing that we're going to market is my digital video book. And what an exciting project this is turning out to be. I'm looking for some artwork. What did I do with it? It's probably one of the most important pieces of art I have, and I don't see it anywhere. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Actually, we'll just have to make you a new one pertaining to
No. Here's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the 700 and something
740
questions.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
See, that's big enough.
And 7 years ago, it'll be 8 years, January 1st, I introduced that book, and it was an extremely exciting project. I took 100 days, Tim. I don't know if I ever told you this part of the story. I took 100 days of my life, and that's all I did was work on the book. I just kind of got out of everything else I was doing. Fortunately, I was living by myself, and nobody needed my attentions or energies or whatever. And in 100 days, from start to finish, I did the book, and I actually held a copy of it. I dealt with the printer, a printer, directly because I was fulfilling another dream of mine. When I started my career 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago, it was in publishing. And when I did it, I was publishing a periodical, and then I started a magazine. And way back in the 70s, I said, someday I want to write a book. I want to manufacture that book myself because I was in the industry. I knew, who I needed to talk to. I knew how to negotiate price. And we created it. It was really exciting. And the only criticism that I got from the book was that I did not answer the questions. It was purposely created as a workbook. There was white space in between each of the 749 questions, so the small business owner or somebody wanting to start a business could look at the questions and say, geez, I think that's pertinent to what I'm trying to do or my business. And they take a note and say, gee, I need to talk to my accountant, I need to talk to my attorney, whatever. I need to talk to Tim because I need some artwork, whatever it might be. And that was the intent of the book. Well, it was fun. It was a fun criticism to hear. The main reason that I didn't answer 749 questions was because it would have taken me another year, literally, to answer 749 questions and edit them and put them in a good working order. And that they would have been my answers to the questions, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I can give answers.
I think that's a real good point that you just made right there. They would be your answers, but they would be the answers very probably for David's business.
Well, done from the perspective of my business. Which
was the purpose of the book, was to get guys
thinking,
and women and children, whatever, decide to do this business, like you said, get them thinking, because it's going to be different for each individual business. There is no golden roadmap. We have to lay our own pavement.
Great commentary. Thank you for that. And it's funny, you kind of said that, and students and children. I put 1,000 books into the hands of students, high school, grade school students, high school students, and college students, because it's a textbook, and I got really great feedback from students, because you know what, Tim, we need to do whatever we can, you and I, to help those students start a business if they want to. We're obligated to do that, because you and I have been doing our thing for, well, I'm older than you are, but I've been doing it for over 40 years. I don't know how many years you've been doing it.
I'm running back in my head, and it's so a little over 30.
And you know, we're here today still talking about it, so we're successful in what we do because we're still here talking about it. And so based upon the pledge, the Entrepreneur's Pledge, which you've heard me read, one of the things that I pledged to was to help folks do what they needed to do to facilitate challenges that they had in their business. And that's my passion. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. And so with folks wanting answers to the questions, I decided to, you know what, 2015, we're going to get answers to the questions, and I'm going to provide some of those answers, and I'm calling on lots of folks to provide their perspective of the answers. And the power of that content that we're going to have is just it scares me. Well, it doesn't scare me, but it's so awesome of just putting folks together, getting different perspectives, and it is so exciting. You are going to be a part of the project, as we talked about last week, and I'm actually launching the project this week. I am doing 4 HOAs this week to do, and each HOA that I do, in a sense, is either a chapter or it supplements a chapter. And the first on Tuesday, who better to launch the project with than with David Amerlin, and we are going to answer the question. I'm going to ask the question, and we're going to get David's answers on it. Is traditional marketing dead? I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I've been sales and marketing for over 40 years, and the way that we do it today, the way that we deliver the message today, the way that we connect with people today is dramatically different than we did 40 years ago. And so there's another good reason for me not to answer all the questions, because I want folks who are experts in the different areas, in the different questions, to answer them. So, and the second question David and I are going to deal with on Tuesday: does your current marketing and sales strategy need to change to generate more 2015 sales? Is there anybody that can say, no, it doesn't need to change?
I probably haven't met them yet this fall. Everybody I've talked to have mentioned the changes and adjustments.
I have changed mine dramatically, and so and David's going to be our mentor on a lot of that, because that's what he does for a living.
And what he loves doing, too.
And you know what? I have never met anyone that there's a lot of folks that do a great job. I've never met anybody that does a greater job than David does. He just has he can get to the heart of the matter quickly, and speaks very directly, very succinctly, and it's amazing. So he's going to we're going to have an HOA on Tuesday. And by the way, for folks watching, I have a link to the HOA in today's event stream. Also, if you happen to be watching on YouTube, I have a link in the showcase, so you'll be able to get it. Plus, I sent it out. If you need any help on that, let me know. On Wednesday, we're going to do the introductory chapter on small business strategy. And the major question is, will your small business strategy change in 2015? Mine is changing dramatically. You've shared some things with me about yourself. I mean, I actually, there aren't too many people that I've spoken to in the last month or so that is not talking about doing some type of change. Well, the world is changing. The customer is changing. The buyer is changing. And we have to be prepared for that.
And how we communicate with them and what they expect in those communications.
Oh my goodness!
Changed drastically.
Wow, and thank God for Ronnie Benser, who tells us how to communicate with the world as far as HOAs go. So on Wednesday, Jim Shankle. Do you know? Did I ask you if you knew Jim?
I think I've met him a couple of times on.
He's done that. He has a presence on Google Plus. He has done some extremely creative, interesting things. He teaches business strategy. He's a professor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the graduate level in Arkansas.
He's done some live HOAs.
That's right, and actually he had David Amerlin lecturing to one of his classes in an HOA. As
well, and Dennis Deuce has helped him
produce
and make so that he can concentrate on what he does best instead of figuring out the technology that he would have to take a long learning curve.
Jim and I are going to do a conceptual discussion on business strategy. What does it mean? What are some tools out there that will help you develop and work on and put your business strategy in an organized form, easily communicated. On Thursday, our chapter is small business technology, and the questions that we're going to deal with conceptual questions. Do you understand how to use Google technology? And I'm saying specifically Google technology because I know what it has done for me in my business, and I don't use everything available to me. I find some new things. I used to find them on a daily basis, but Google is out there. Google has a lot of tools that not only help you inside of Google, help you just anywhere you want to go with your business. So, do you understand how to use Google technology? The other question is your current use of available small business technology making your small business operate most efficiently? That's why we embrace technology. We embrace it for efficiencies. Basically, we want things to work better than they're working, and so we look for those technologies that will help us make that happen. And so I've called upon Vivek and William Rock to do our introductory presentation on small business technology. Those two have their hands around it. They understand this stuff. They both teach other folks how to do the same. And then Friday, my friend Barbara Weltman is going to help me launch the chapter on small business money matters. Actually, I've known Barbara for probably 7 years now, and we have done a lot of streaming. We did some Skype things together. I haven't been on Skype for 3 years, but in the old days I used it as a tool to help me produce what I'm now producing, and Google has made it so easy for me to produce it versus the way I used to. It was just unbelievable. And Barbara is the author of Small Business Taxes 2015. It's the 15th or 16th year that she has published that book. She is the expert, period, on small business taxes. And so she has so graciously said yes to helping me out there and sharing the message. We did an HOA a week ago, two weeks ago, a week ago, on the book. She just kind of recently launched the book, this year's edition of the book. And then here's what I'm going to do, Tim. And this is really kind of interesting. And Barbara was the one that kind of planted the seed with me on this one. She published a book a year ago, October. The book was called Smooth Failing. And it was the story of 11 different entrepreneurs who failed miserably, and I hate the word failure, in their initial businesses, and came back to create big businesses. And the concept was that she did 11 of those stories, but whenever there was a new chapter to be added, she was doing this project with Amazon. Every time there was a new chapter, they would make that chapter available to any folks who had bought the book originally. So they called it a living book. As new content became available, make it available. I said, wow, what a neat concept. And it's so easy to do that today with the technology that you and I are familiar with. So every month I'm going to introduce new content for forever. Why not forever? And that is so exciting. And I'm learning new things about publishing that had I been able to do them 40 years ago, my life would have been dramatically easier, more simple than it was then. Just amazing. So every month we're going to introduce new content, and I'm not quite sure. You'll probably be in the third month because, well, first month we have these intros. Oh, there's 2 bonus chapters in the first month. I did an HOA with Eric Enga this week. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it and see. Oh my goodness. Eric, not only is he one of the ultimate authorities in digital marketing, he has been such a successful entrepreneur, and his story and his insight and his grasp of business, and I was just in awe listening to him and the way that he approached it, and it's an amazing. He has an amazing story. So we're going to include that as a bonus chapter in January. And also, too, in January, I just got a commitment this week from a friend of mine. He actually lives here in Cincinnati. His name is Dr. Charles Matthews. He created the Department of Entrepreneurship at the University of Cincinnati, and today he's no longer the head dean. He's no longer the head dean there, but he travels the world on behalf of entrepreneurship. I mean, I have to chase him down. Literally, any country in the world is fair game for him. And I caught up with him this week. He happened to be in Cincinnati. You know what? I don't even know if he was in Cincinnati. We did a messaging interchange, so I don't know where he was. But he is going to do a chapter with me, and he and I have done HOAs before. We've done streaming before. And he's coming out with a 600-page book on, it's called Entrepreneurial Innovation, something like that. 600 pages. He's coming out with it in March. So not only will we talk about entrepreneurship, we'll talk about his book and that whole thing. So that's going to be a bonus chapter also. Wow, what a lineup!
Yeah,
and then I'm just going to throw some names out there of folks who are going to do I've put some groups together to supplement these chapters. So there's going to be about 6 groups. There's a group on strategy. Zara, Altair, Stan Bush, Rain Dow, Ken Manesi are going to do a strategy group discussion. Marketing, Chef Dennis, a woman by the name of Kathy Brown, who I met Kathy some time ago. I don't know if you've ever listened to her. She's starting to build a lot of exposure inside of Google. She's just a storehouse of knowledge of social media. And Susan Finch is also going to be, Susan, she's going to be on that panel. Then another panel on marketing is, I don't know if you know a woman by the name of Brooke Ballard. Actually, I met Brooke a couple years ago, and she has been recognized, and I've done a couple HOAs with her already. She's been recognized as one of the young folks, well, younger folks who really have a grasp of social media. And on that panel with Brooke is Jess Duell. You know Jess, and Dustin Stout. You probably know Dustin. I've done all these folks. I've done HOAs with already, so I know what they're all about, and they all are. I consider them to be experts. And then marketing technology. I've got a panel. Listen to this panel: Ronnie Benser, Christine DeGraff, Ben Fisher, and Jason Weiser. Can you imagine that panel?
That one is going to be a powerful hitter too.
And then
there's some sharp people there.
Well, they're all experts in what they do. They all are experts in what they do. And then on Money Matters, a fellow by the name of Ryan Hanley and Stephanie Sims. I know you know Stephanie.
I know Ryan too.
Oh, do you know Ryan?
Yeah.
He's the one that I haven't done much with, so I'm real excited about doing an HOA with him. I've been following him, and he's got some very interesting things in the way he approaches them. And one of the things that really caught my attention with him is he's in the insurance industry, and that's where I was in the 90s. I had 19 of the 52 largest insurance companies were clients of mine in the 90s. So when I heard that about him, I jumped all over that one. And then video marketing, I've got a panel with Terry Leigh Britton, Scott Scowcroft, and Jeff C. That's a powerful panel on video marketing. I think between the three of those guys, they have it all covered. They have it all covered.
I've seen all of their work.
And branding, actually, the interesting thing about this branding discussion, the two fellas actually live here in Cincinnati, where I live. One I've known for 21 years, and he's as good as it gets, what he does. And another one, his name is John Fox, and Dan Krask. I've never met Dan, and he lives 20 minutes away from me. We've had video chats, but he does some wonderful branding work. Actually, he's got a client base of folks that have left P&G and started companies of their own. He's doing branding for a lot of those folks, so he's at the top of his game. And then I've got a friend. I don't know if you've ever heard anything. He's really, really low key and is afraid of technology, but I've actually known him I've known him offline for probably approaching 10 years now. His name is Ed Butcher, and his expertise is customer care. And it's all about our customers and taking care of our customers. And Ed's got some really interesting things that he has done in that area. And that's our group, and that's the second group that we're going to do. And hopefully I will have all of those HOAs done so that we can introduce that group in February. And then I'm going to go to a lot of friends like yourself, and we're going to do one-on-ones. So we've got some experts, some group discussions, and then one-on-one discussions. So you will tell me, because you're a multifaceted guy. I learn new things about you every time we talk, and we'll zero in on one or two questions that are important for small businesses to think about for 2015. So that's the book, and that project, Tim, gets more exciting every single week. It's a snowball effect. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I'm crazy, as you well know, because I've tackled also Hangouts on our magazine that we're doing as a community project. I've been working very closely with Scott Silverstein. He originally had the concept, started to do it. Then when he got into it, he said, "This is too much work," and I didn't think it was this much work. So he came to me, and we were talking about it, did some brainstorming about it, and I said, "Why don't we take it on as a community project and we have 600, almost 700 folks in the community. Make it and get people to learn some new skills, do some new things." Add their expertise to what's happening already. I think I'm going to be looking for a graphic designer on that one. If you know anybody. So we're moving right along in that. I'm working with Scott almost on a daily basis, a couple times a week, and he's got a technology platform that we're just learning. We've created a form for folks. They will have to fill out the form because the form will give us all the information that is necessary about their HOA. It's a short form. It's not a million things. It's less than a dozen fields of information, but based upon that, it will create a page, and that page will become our magazine page for HOAs. And we've got the first edition almost tied down, almost all the pages spoken for. Our first edition is going to be 24 pages, and we have a cover. We have a couple full-page ads, and I only need maybe 4 or 5 more HOAs to fill the book, fill the magazine. Oh my goodness, that'll come out in January, God willing. So I'm gonna be I've got the next 6 weeks are pretty busy for me, Tim. How about you?
Sounds like you've got a full platter there. Mine is actually, I'm shifting gears here now. I've done the some of the badly needed realigning and everything over this past year while I dealt with healing a bum wing. And so this starting in January, the format of my HOA will be changing somewhat. I think based on some other things that I've seen not happening in the art world and on Hangouts, that this one people are going to like based on some of the feedback of my other shows that I've done in the past. And winding up this month, I've got a couple of more HOAs for the business, as well as one that I'm doing with Phil Boyer. Come on, say it, Tim.
Which, it is Boyer.
He is a good guy.
He's a wonderful guy. He's one of the more interesting folks out there, with just because of his attitude and his approach and where he is, and actually he's going to be involved in my book also. So that's pretty much what my next couple of 3 weeks is going to be. Well, actually, you're going to have a page in that magazine. I'm looking at the list right now. Why don't you try to fill the form out this weekend?
Okay. And you guys will have to get me the link on that.
Where did I post it? It's posted someplace. I'll send you a personal message on it. I thought it's out there someplace. I don't know where I put it. It might be in the showcase. I could put it in the event stream for anybody. I'll send you. But anyways, as soon as we're done here, I'll send it to you personally.
Okay, must have reference to do the question about the video that you sent me towards the end of last week or Monday, somewhere right in there, with Ken Manasseh's guest appearance.
Are you saying I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
I was just thinking, I'm having problems recalling the conversation, and I was thinking out loud about what it was that's going in the magazine.
Oh, it's HOAs. It's HOAs, and it's not just HOAs, but the HOAs have to be time stamped. But we're not requiring the entire HOA to be time stamped. We want the producer of the HOA to take the 3 to 5 most valuable ideas, thoughts, concepts of the HOA, and those will be time stamped. So you'll see the HOA, then you'll know that, oh wow, here's 5 important things that were said in the HOA, and then we'll take it, we'll take them right to that point in the HOA. Okay. That's the real value of what we're doing. It's not just, it's no big deal to publish an HOA. I mean, a lot of folks are publishing HOAs, but to put it in a format that people can get to it right away. Speaking about HOAs, did you see the honor that I got from Mick Sharp yesterday?
I actually haven't had a chance to read his yet.
He said
his on Saturday.
He gave big kudos to the HOA that I did with Eric this week, Eric Enga. How cool is that, man?
Hey, you made it, man.
Wow. No, actually, this is the second time he's mentioned me. I can't remember the first one that it was, but it was a very powerful. I mean, Eric is just, He's one of those guys that you say they're in a class by themselves. Just his knowledge and the way that he does things, and just it was an amazing discussion. I was really fortunate to latch onto that one.
He has a lot of good information there that as we grow as small businesses, depending on how large a scale we plan on focusing on, there are things that we can include that will literally propagate future entrepreneurs. And he was lucky enough to experience that.
There were three of the many highlights of things that he said, and we talked about. He and I both did a posting afterwards about how important it is as a small business owner that you make a decision right now about whatever it is that you need to make a decision. And then my comment to that was that that's the advantage a small business owner has over someone whose business is larger, because the larger the organization, the more layers there are for a decision to be made.
It's like that speedboat versus your painting there of the cruising yacht or ocean liner. That speedboat makes a turn a heck of a lot faster than, say, Carnival Cruises, even the smallest cruise ship, or an oil tanker. And the distance lost when you need to make that turn if you don't make it when you need to.
And well said, well said. And Eric, he's had 3 businesses that he built up and sold. And he didn't say what the number was, but I have a feeling the numbers were pretty big numbers. And the other great point that he made, and small business owners, there aren't too many people that actually grasp. They might think they understand the concept, but they don't do it. And he did it. While he was building businesses, he had his consulting business that was generating cash flow, and the cash flow went into these new businesses. So as the businesses were growing, he was feeding them with money that he was making on his consulting business. And that is an absolute wonderful concept that, and I'm not so sure that people don't understand it, they just don't do it. They're totally focused on what it is they want their business to do, and they live and die with cash. I mean, cash flow is what runs our businesses, runs our lives, and we always have to have that stream of cash flow going. If we don't, the business I promise you, is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's going to suffer and ultimately fail because you didn't give it the resources it needed. You wind up in a position to where it's do or die, and it becomes more an act of desperation than a functioning business.
And each one of the 3 businesses that he started from zero, and not just by himself, well, he had partners. I think the first one he did himself, and he had partners after that. The business, he was feeding the businesses with his consulting business. And what a wonderful concept. And that's a strategy. It's a strategy that we'll discuss strategies like that, and things that you can do. I guess it also is comparable in discussion to the idea that should you quit your job and start a business? I think it's kind of the same argument. Your job obviously generates cash flow. And if you quit your job and stop that flow of cash flow, stream of cash flow, then you got to make it up somewhere.
Yeah, you just shortened the time you have to make your business successful when you cut off a cash flow stream.
I have a friend who's starting a business, and there's no doubt in my mind the business is going to be very, very strong, very, very strong business. He's approaching it right. He's got he's in a good area to be with his business, but he has a job. The interesting thing is he knows that he's going to be laid off from that job, and that's troublesome to him. Not so much that that stream of cash flow stream isn't there anymore, more so that while he still has a job, he can't put the energy into building his business that he wants to do, and he's constantly frustrated about that. Constantly frustrated. But hey, you got to do the right things, and the interesting thing is he won't be surprised by his layoff. He knows that it's coming. So milk it, man. Leverage it.
Exactly. Use the time that he knows he has to build the things that won't generate income in the business.
That's a great place for people to be. He's very, very fortunate to be in that situation. Okay, and the one last thing, and I don't have the details on it, that we're going to do, and it's going to be something simple to do. I'm going to make or create or facilitate a directory of all the members of the community, and they'll have one compelling sentence. I'm going to keep it to one sentence. One compelling sentence about themselves. Essentially, why should people contact me to do business with me? And then how do you contact them? What's the best way to contact? And we'll publish and market that directory. It won't cost anybody to be in it, but we'll coordinate it and facilitate it, and in and of itself be a powerful tool. We have approaching 700 members of the community, and this is the real challenge. I think you heard me say this last week. This is the real challenge of that community, is at least 50%, and I've never really stopped and counted, at least 50% of the folks in the community don't live in the United States. And so there's small business cultures all over the world, which is Google. It's all over the world, and young folks and older folks. It's a really interesting mix of people. So we're going to coordinate that and create a directory so that we can market it, and people will come to the community for the resources that we have, the expertise that we have in the community. That's what I want. Okay, I've been babbling here for 52 minutes. Or the better part of 52 minutes. You were saying intelligent stuff in the time when I wasn't babbling. So is there anything you'd like to leave any viewers with?
Okay, I guess that's kind of how to get a hold of me type of question. For those
whatever you want, whatever you say.
Remember to slow down long enough in your business to appreciate what you have around you, appreciate what you've accomplished and how far you've come, and it'll give you a better idea of what you're capable of doing down the road in the future, because you'll have seen the successes that got you where you are today, no matter how rough they might have been. That's one thing that has kept me going over the years in different ways. So the other thing is appreciate the beauty around you. I create beauty with my paintings, but the inspiration for that is from around us. Find some way to turn your dreams, ideas, memories into works of art in your life, whether that's your business, your family, or someone like me that takes those and makes them into a fine oil painting.
Wow. How provocative. Thank you. Speaking of which, beauty around us. If you look over your shoulder, you have a different painting there than you had the last time I was face to face with you. You want to talk about what you have behind you now?
Okay, that is a painting that's been long overdue. I started a series, and I had always all along planned a set of 6 for this series of the Native American sport called stickball. And I've gotten all done but that one. So to finish up the series with this one will be done before the end of the year. And then that series can be purchased individually or as the full set.
Wow. Next time you and I are together, I'd like to see the other 5.
I'll have to see what I can do about that. They are available for viewing.
Let's do an HOA on them.
Okay. In the meantime, if you want to kind of get a glimpse of them, on there on my website, longwellart.com. They're currently under the listing when you go under the art menu of currently available artwork. And drop by Want the Art when you get a chance, HOA on Wednesdays at 4 Central Time. You'll be able to watch and see different steps that are used to make those type of paintings grow.
You know, I'm sure you do, that they still play stickball in the streets of New York.
Different kind of stickball, though. The Native American stickball's cross between rugby, lacrosse, and what was the other? Wrestling.
Needless to say,
it's an aggressive sport.
I was going to say, needless to say, the Native Americans who played that sport or probably still playing the sport, are probably physical specimens, guys you don't want to mess around with.
You'd be surprised, but it's the energy that's put into that game.
I mean, I've watched rugby on television. I've never seen a rugby game, but it's a pretty vicious sport.
Well, that's where it changes and kind of flips back over to the lacrosse side, because with lacrosse you're using a stick and in the case of stickball, usually a small leather ball.
So there's no 200 miles an hour.
No, these are all. Well, I guess they could. They're a little bit bigger than a ping pong ball, and you don't touch the ball ever with your hands. You can only pick it up and throw it with the sticks.
Well, I will go on your site. How many pieces of art do you have on your website?
About half of what I have currently available.
I was looking for a number.
I think I have 8 up. I have probably another half dozen to put up that are currently available, and then I think I've got 4. Is it 4 pieces? 6? Yeah, I think it's 4 pieces that I actually documented before the sale and posted as previously sold.
Okay, very good. Thank you for taking the time to be inside the HOA today, and thank you for all your input to our HOAs, our community, your postings. Thank you for my caricature over one of my shoulders here, and those caricatures are available. By the way, Do you have some? Is that you have that on your website, or is there another way for people? It's on the
That's
website.
that's under our under commissions, and the reason where it's under is under portraiture area is because to do a good caricature, you need to be able to do a portrait, a real life aspect of the person, so you know where to tweak and twist and make it look funny and still make it look like the individual you're doing.
Oh, you did a wonderful job with mine. Did I ever show you uh, a caricature that my oldest son, who is 27, did of me when he was probably 10 years old on a computer? Did I ever show you that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was an unbelievable representation of me, and he did it on a computer. I had just bought, he and his brother, their first computer, and he as a 10-year-old sat down and did a character. You can imagine. I mean, you know what it takes to do it freehand. He did it on a computer. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and back
Okay.
then you did it with a mouse too.
I don't know. I didn't watch him. I just saw. I said, "Wow, good job, Jordan. You have some talent." Actually, he has this inner artistic talent, Tim, and he it started he would never take art lessons. I could never get him to take an art lesson as he was growing up, and he worked at an amusement park near our home, a big one, for 2 summers. And his first summer he was 16, and he did caricatures at the amusement park, and he had long lines of people wanting his work, and he didn't like that job because he had to sell, and his bosses were always pushing him to upsell, sell more, sell him a side, whatever it was. And he was he was an artist, and he didn't perceive of himself at that time as a salesperson, and so he got disinterested, and but he's very, very talented at it. He hasn't commented on this one though, but I'm going to get him to. You know why? Because we don't hang out that much.
Does he have a computer?
Yes, he has a computer. He's the chief marketing officer of a company. Yes, he has a computer. He doesn't. We don't hang out. We talk a lot, but we just don't hang out a lot. I do hang out with my other son because my other son's the father of my granddaughter, so I hang out with her on a regular basis. Okay. Thank you, folks, for taking time. Lots of things happening in our community. Come and get involved. We collaborate with one another. We make things happen. Every week, every time that we get together, something evolves from that interaction. So that's what I wanted to do with the community, and it's happening. It happens on a very, very regular basis. Thank you, and we'll see. Well, come by Tuesday and watch my view my discussion with David Amerlin about small business marketing and sales. And we will see you the next time, which may very well be the best time.